Though we all have traveled many uncertain roads, we have always recognized something wasn't right. We searched high and low, yet our paths had never intersected. Our desire to seek truth, then to speak true, has brought us all together. That thing of ours is rooted in truth, because truth is the only unshakable foundation. And the greatest book, it states in John 8:32, "For ye shall know the truth, and the truth shall make you free."
Truth is a powerful force. It is the foundation on which all great achievements are built, and the bedrock of trust and respect in any relationship. When we are rooted in truth, we can be confident that our decisions and actions are grounded in reality rather than in speculation or wishful thinking.
The pursuit of truth is not always easy. It requires courage, perseverance, and a willingness to face uncomfortable facts. But in the end, the truth is always worth it. It allows us to make better decisions, to build stronger relationships, and to create a more just and equitable world.
From politics and world events to entertainment and pop culture, we've got you covered. We'll explore our histories and stories that matter to uncover the truth that lies at the heart of each one. With our fingers on the pulse of the news cycle, we'll provide insight and analysis you need to stay informed and engaged.
As we stay rooted in truth and let the truth guide us in all that we do, let us be willing to listen, to learn, and seek out the facts, even when they challenge our own assumption or belief.
Let us never forget that the pursuit of truth is not just an individual endeavor, but a collective one.
Only by working together
With honesty and integrity.
Can we build a better future for ourselves
And for generations to come.
This is That Thing of Ours. How's it going, everybody? Thank you for joining us on this Tuesday, 28th of May, 2024. I'd like to thank each and every one of you for joining us on Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, X, Rumble, and Pill.net.
Sorry about that. I'm still doing stuff in the background. If you wouldn't mind taking a moment and hitting that thumbs up button, smashing the heart over on X, taking that red pill over on Pill, we'd truly appreciate it. Also, if you wouldn't mind sharing to anyone who you might think would love to see this, and also hit that notification button so you always know when we go live.
Truly appreciated. Yeah. Appreciate each and every one of you joining us today. It's been an amazing day today. Denise, I just wanted to catch up with you real quick. We did get your email. We just have not had that opportunity to get back with you. We just got new window units installed until the air conditioner gets fixed out here. It was toasty. It's been toasty in the new house and trying to move in and stuff like that. So yeah, we're trying to get all that stuff done, but yeah, we'll definitely get with you shortly here, and definitely want to follow up with you on that message.
Absolutely. We got F. Clint in the house.
What's up, F. Clint?
Of course, Miss Denise.
There's Denise.
Let's see. We do too. I love the open video. It's so much fun.
Yeah. But it's going to have to change.
Yes.
Yeah. So
Miss
times change.
Jenny.
Jenny!
Watch out for the frogs, Jenny.
Still funny every time.
see. I know. So much fun. We got Bill in the house.
What's up, brother Bill? Thanks for joining. Appreciate each and every one of you. Chachi just showed up. What's going on,
Hey,
Chachi?
Chachi.
How you doing, man?
So-
Again, we appreciate all of you showing up here tonight, and
Absolutely.
yeah, hopefully we got some stuff that y'all will find of interest as the world keeps on turning
On fire.
on fire through fiery hoops.
Right?
Yeah, something like that. Yeah, watch out! It's ridiculous out there.
It is. It's been crazy. I don't know about everyone else, but this was the most Monday-y Tuesday on the planet for me.
It has been Monday.
Man, you get a Monday off from work and it
Hey, you know what? We
Tuesday turns into Monday times 400.
There you go, Denise. A spinning dumpster fire.
There you go. That is it. That is it, man. That is definitely it.
It has been a little Monday.
Yes. And if you guys did not catch Rambo's show earlier, you really should go watch it. It was really amazing.
Rambo's always got great info, though. Love that guy.
Well, yeah.
Yeah. He sees the Matrix.
He really does. He's Neo.
Or is he Morpheus?
No, he's Neo.
He's Neo? Okay. I guess he's the main character then.
That's what I'm going with.
All right. No, I got no problem with that. So, while Kay is getting all the back end stuff figured out, let's see, what do we have? It's just been crazy around here. We're still trying to catch up with everything. Believe it or not, we still haven't found Kay's camera. That's her work camera. She'll be on a little bit later at some point in time, I assume, while she's
Maybe.
well, when she has the ability to face the camera. Right now, she's looking down at computers and all
Yes,
of the
fixing
things,
everything.
fixing everything, making sure it's all good to go.
Yeah, there's that.
So,
So,
we got a video we can run in the meantime.
yeah, hold
All right.
on. Ta-da!
Ta-da!
Here
There
I
she
am.
is. Da-da-da-da.
Da-da-da-da. So, but we do have videos. Oh, yeah, me too. Ugh.
Oh God.
At least he
Nero.
got yelled at by people, so that made me
Yeah.
feel good.
Well, you know, the guy's got to go through it now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I agree, Jenny. Tuesday is Monday's ugly sister. Yep. 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 Okay.
All
This
right.
too shall pass.
This too shall pass.
So King Solomon had a special ring. He loved his rings. He went to his greatest assistant and he told him, I want a ring that will make me laugh when I look at it in hard times, make me smile. And I want a ring that's going to make me sad and make me frown when I'm in happy times. The assistant looked at him and said, well, I'll go look for a ring like this. He thought it was going to be a magical ring. It was 3 months before he was going to have a big event. And the assistant had only 3 months to go find that ring. The assistant went everywhere, couldn't find the ring. He gets to a ring maker in a town and he goes to him and he says, look, I need a ring that when I look at it and I'm happy, I'll frown. And when I look at it when I'm frowning, I will smile. The ring maker looked at him and said, give me 1 second. He ran to the back and came back with the ring after a few minutes. I told him, here's your ring. The assistant looked at the ring and said, that is exactly the ring. He ran back to King Solomon as King Solomon already started the event and the party, and he's with all of his friends and everybody's there and girls, and it's a huge party. And he's laughing and joking and having a great time. And the ring guy comes in, the assistant screaming, King Solomon, I have your ring. And everybody looks and stops. King Solomon starts laughing, says, let me see the ring. He looks inside of the ring, and from a smile, he frowns. Everybody wondered, what did the ring say? And it's the famous quote from King Solomon, this too shall pass. So whether you're in hard times, this too shall pass. Whether you're in good times, this too shall pass.
Interesting thoughts, Santino.
Well, okay, so this too shall pass. It's a mantra that gets repeated often, and it's usually repeated during hard times. But it's something that should be remembered during the good times as well, because that too shall pass. The only thing that is truly guaranteed is that everything will change. That's the only
Yes.
constant. The only constant is that everything will change, and
Yes.
so we get used to that concept, especially during the hard times, because it lets us know that, you know what, hey, it may suck right now, but you know what, it's going to get better. Things are going to look up, but at the same time, we should keep that in mind, that even the good times are fleeting and that they don't last forever. At what point in time in anybody's life has a good time lasted, through to today? Hey, Light Spear, what's going on? So it's something that we should keep in mind, and we
Mhm.
should understand that our emotional state at any point in time is subject to change. So that means that we should, and it again leads back to the Bible, count it all joy, because even the bad things do go away and we grow from them, and the good things they do go away, but we have those memories. We have those things to look back upon and say, you know what, things were really good at this point in time. And it doesn't mean that those good times were permanently going to be there. It doesn't mean that the bad times are permanently going to be there. It just means that we can expect it to oscillate between the two as we go through life. And I think that it's a good, I guess, mantra, for lack of a better word, to live by,
I agree
because
with
it
Denise.
keeps it all in perspective.
I agree with Denise.
Denise says, good reminder to keep us from resting on our laurels, so to speak.
Mhm.
Exactly.
Hey, Ghost Pepper.
Hey, Ghost Pepper. Yeah, it is all fleeting.
Mhm.
So be in joy as much as possible.
Absolutely. You have to, because regardless of what's going on, there's always going to be changes. And speaking of changes, I'm just going to go ahead and announce it right now. Terry will not be returning to the show, neither will Jonathan. They have decided that family obligations are more important than doing a show for 2 hours.
It's a lot of time.
A day,
Yeah.
5 days a week, even though we're doing 4 for the summer. And that is their prerogative.
Look, they got kids.
They've got kids, and that's more important to them. So
And
we
it
wish
should be.
them, all the, love and luck in the world.
We do wish them all the love and luck in the world. So yeah, the show, as I guess we were just talking about, that too has passed.
Yes.
And so we will drive on.
Yes, we will. Yes, we will. So you ready?
Yeah.
Speaking of driving on.
Yo, it's Shorty. It has officially happened. 2024 Ram 3500. Authorization denied. Cannot get into anything on this except for generic OBD2 software. My manufacturer software is 100% irrelevant at this point in time on this vehicle. So this is it. VSP registry, SDRN. It's all part of the NASTF security professional registry. So in order to gain access to these vehicles, you have to be a credentialed professional. You have to go through this. It's for keys and mobilizers. The main thing is that it's for anything that the manufacturer deems as security sensitive. They will lock you out until you get this done. But it's officially here. If you're not ready, you're going to be hurting for certain things, specifically, absolutely 100% of the time, adding a key and any immobilizer functions. So it's officially here, guys. So your primary account is $325 every 2 years for every application. After that, it is $100 for a 2-year. You have to have commercial liability insurance of $1 million. And you have to have Fidelity employee dishonesty bond of $100,000 or more. I don't normally ask for this, but everybody please like, comment, share, stitch, duet. I don't care. This information needs to get out there. There's a lot of people that don't know that this is going on, and it's going to affect everybody getting their cars fixed. So even if you're not a technician or a shop owner, please share this video so everybody knows what needs to happen, what people have to do to be able to fix your car. Very important. Help me spread the word, everybody.
Thought Santino.
Well, it's one of the reasons why they are making everything electronic. So that way, so we've been hearing about how they, especially with these self-driving cars, they can also self-repo at this point as well.
Yes, they can.
So if you buy one of those fancy cars that can drive anywhere, they can just have it, take itself out of the garage and drive it to the local tow yard. Hey, easy peasy. Don't even have to send anybody out. And exactly, Denise, some hacker has a workaround already. I guarantee you.
Oh yeah.
And that's what always happens with this electronic stuff. But more than likely, it was somebody from within who's creating all of this coding that is putting that information out there as to how to defeat it. It could be out of principle. It could be out of any number of things. But I do fully expect it to be hacked. And I also expect hackers to do exactly what they do and hack. It's a challenge to them. Oh, I can't get into this. Oh, well, let's see about that. So I do expect the hackers to do that, because we have seen how people can take a car over through the Bluetooth system and start messing with everything in the car. It's so for me. I am. This is one more of those things that makes me want to draw away from all of this electro wizardry that they're putting on all the cars. You know what? Give me those old school crank windows. I mean, it's still the universal sign for roll your window down. You know, the whole hand thing. Kids don't even know what that is anymore, but for some reason, people know that means roll your window down. But all of that simplicity is also what made the cars very inexpensive. And with everything being through the roof, and the fact that somebody can hack into your car while you're driving it and do any number of things, the fact that the manufacturers don't want you messing with it at all, because they want to be able to take your car probably for even up to and including wrong think. And I can see that happening as well. If you're too much of a free thinker, bloop, okay, you don't get the use of a car anymore. Sorry, we can't find out what's wrong with your car. And that's an easy thing for a properly trained mechanic to be able to say.
Right.
So it points, and this also explains why the Obama had the cash for clunkers, because those were all the cars that you could take to AutoZone very easily and go ahead and get the repairs done by yourself. So it's going to put a premium on a lot of the older cars, I do believe, especially for those who are free thinkers. So take it for what it's worth. Let it go where you want to in your mind. But for me, I think the simplicity just is much easier. Jenny says, so are they trying to make it that you can't fix your own car, basically? Very much so. Because it keeps an entire industry going, because people can fix cars on their own. You have your old shade tree mechanics, but at the same time, that's coming from a place of lack. It's coming from a place of feeling like there's not going to be enough work, assuming that, kids nowadays can't even change a light bulb without having to call some handyman. The handyman business is blown exponentially.
Right.
Chachi says, I believe this will pave the way for aftermarket open source automotive software / networks. And I think that that's very much a very real possibility. What's up, Chops? Thanks for joining us.
Yes.
And you know what, Chachi? I think that, it will be the older cars. Once they go to a newer version, there'll be a lot of, they can't even change a tire anymore. And we're talking about the men. So it's something that could really cause a lot of problems for a lot of people, because it makes us more dependent upon the system that's created, when we're recognizing at this very moment that the system is designed merely to keep us dependent upon it. And that's not what any real free thinker wants.
No.
They don't want to have to rely on somebody else if they don't have to. And they certainly don't want to have to rely on some nebulous megacorp, somewhere, who knows where, probably overseas with a bunch of billionaires, part of some forum about economics in the world or something like that.
Right.
And just don't care to have those people run much of anything anymore, because everything they do, they're like the anti-Midas. Everything they touch turns to shit.
My dad made sure I knew how to change tires and do way more than that.
Oh, yeah. Well, some people can't even steal cars.
Hey, Bethany Ann.
Hey, Bethany Ann.
And you're not late.
You're not
right
late.
on time.
You're just on time.
Hey,
and
Miss
we appreciate
Steph.
you showing up. Hey, Steph.
Let's see. Jan says, we'll have to go to the back alley to get your car fixed. How sad is that?
Hey.
You want to get your car fixed?
It'd be,
retarded.
Sell it like they sold us on why abortion should be legal everywhere. Oh, well, they'll just go to a back alley with a coat hanger and get abortions done anyways. That was one of the big fear tactics that they used. Well, I guess there will be a black market created. It's just like prohibition. When they did prohibition, all they did was create and give strength to the mafia, because they gave them a product that they could move and sell.
Exactly. And I agree, Denise. We'll figure out a way to fix it ourselves.
Yeah, pretty much.
I mean, my very first car, I completely remodeled myself. So
yeah. But I don't think that people won't figure out how to take engines off of a old motorcycle, or a moped or whatever, and figure out a way to move about on their own. People are resourceful and resilient, and they will find where there's a will, there's a way.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly, Steph. My
Read
dad did too. I know how to completely tear down, not these new engines, but the older engines. I know how to tear them down and put them back together and get them running. And my very first car, I paid $800. It was a 1963 Ford Falcon Futura that I completely redid top to bottom by myself.
Yeah.
So,
And it's something that can be done. And exactly, Chachi, nothing stopped Cuba from having cars during the embargo. And they became even more resourceful because the cars that they did have were worth
Basura.
keeping on the road. The old, that's where you find the old, 50 something Chevys.
Yeah.
Back when Chevy was
I want a Nomad.
Chevrolet. I know, right?
Nomad.
A 57 Chevy Nomad. Put that on the
wish list.
On the wish list. Yeah.
Steph says that's why we have a 1979 Ford F-150 because it's the old style. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
All those old pickups were amazing.
All those old, not just Ford. I loved them all.
Yeah.
They're so cool. So cool.
Yeah.
You guys ready?
Oh, yeah.
Some Kelly.
Woot woot.
Has anybody ever told you you just didn't have enough faith? Man, God would have showed up if you just had more faith. Where's your faith, bro? You ever heard anything like that? I have. The truth is, we know faith is the currency of heaven. Anything you need from God, it's going to take faith to get it. Let me give you some truth today. The devil wants nothing more than for you to believe you don't have enough faith. But what does the Bible say? Faith the size of a mustard seed can move a mountain. Now, I know you know this scripture. I know. Have you ever really thought about it? Let's look at the story of Jesus walking on the water. In the middle of a huge storm, the disciples are freaking out, thinking they're going to die. And here comes Jesus on the water. They all think it's a ghost, but Peter says, Lord, if that's you, give me the word and I'm going to walk on the water too. Jesus tells him to come. He gets out of the boat and actually walks on the water. There's only two people in the world that have ever walked on water, and here they are right now. But Peter starts to get distracted by the wind and the waves all around him, takes his eyes off Jesus. You know the story. He starts to sink. Now, the good news is Jesus doesn't let him sink, does he? He reaches out his hand, pulls him back up. But it's what he said to him that blows my mind. He says, "Oh, ye of little faith." Are you kidding me, bro? Little faith? Only two people have walked on water. You and him. And you're saying that's little faith? Does this not bother you? I'm reading this and I'm like, God, that's huge faith. What are you talking about? How can you tell him? You see what I'm saying? This is Jesus' best friend. He goes with him everywhere. If anyone should have big faith, it's Peter. Jesus, 11 other dudes didn't even get out the boat. Clearly, this is big faith. This literally bothered me. So I asked God, why did you tell him that? And the Lord spoke something to me. He says to me quite regularly, Google it. So I Googled the definition of little. And you know how definitions always have like one or two definitions? First one said exactly what I was thinking, small in size or stature. But the second definition changed everything. It said short in length or duration. See what Jesus was saying to Peter here wasn't that he had a little faith. Rather, it didn't last very long. You see, it took huge faith for Peter to get out of that boat and walk on the water. The problem was his faith didn't keep going. You see, when we hear that faith the size of a mustard seed will move a mountain, in our mind, we picture a mountain just sliding out of the way. But the truth is, God doesn't always work that way. You see, what if God wants to move your mountain one rock at a time? The mountain is still moving, just not in the speed you'd like it to. The question isn't how big is your faith. Little faith will move mountains. The real question is, do you have faith that lasts? So let me encourage you today. I don't know what you are believing God for that you let go of because it didn't happen in the right timing, but that doesn't mean God isn't working. He wants you to have faith that lasts through the process while he moves your mountain one rock at a time. God is still working in and for you in this situation right now. I promise you. Just keep your eyes on him and trust him through the process with faith that lasts. And think about that for a minute. Hey, if this message blessed you.
Thought Santino.
I love Kelly. He's awesome.
God, Google it.
Google it. Hey, new friend. What's going on, JD?
Welcome.
Welcome. Thanks for joining us. Thanks for saying something. All right. So, little faith. There's always, and this is something that we've been learning during our awakening process, is that there are many definitions for each and every word. Also, it's about how you say a word. It can determine, what it's actually, telling you. I mean, we used for weird example here, the television. It is telling lies to your vision. Truth in plain sight right there. But it does also communicate the, nature of the television to see. But anyways, it's so little faith, short duration. And I love his example of moving a mountain, because there's a mountain that's been getting moved just on the outskirts of Las Vegas over the past, 20 or 30 years. Now, granted, it's a gypsum mine, and they've slowly made this mountain go away, but that mountain has moved. And so we also don't understand the timing about how things work. Carol says, you don't just turn on God if you don't get your way. Boy, isn't that the truth? No, you have to double down when things get tough, when things get hard.
I'm pretty sure if you throw a temper tantrum, he's just going to be like, okay, get up.
How cute.
Isn't that nice?
Isn't that special? So we have to make sure that we are doubling down when things get difficult, when things are hard, because it was like he was saying, Peter was walking on the water and then he got distracted and he needed to keep his focus on Yeshua. And so it's about keeping that focus. And that's the thing that has been
a lot of us
helping
have
me
that
out
problem,
a lot.
though.
Oh yeah.
A lot of us have that problem where, we're right there, and then squirrel.
Yeah.
I mean, it happens. There you go. Wendy says, mine is getting moved one rock at a time. Only someone puts a rock or two back while I sleep. LOL. I'm thankful God is moving them. You know what? Not necessarily that someone's moving them while you're asleep, just that God has leveled you up for the next go round.
There you go. And all of it, again, creates growth. And that growth gives us the opportunity to get even bigger and better challenges moving forward. How exciting is that?
Exactly. And Denise says, the piece I heard was, get out of the boat. Boom. Exactly. Come on. Join me here.
Yeah.
And I'm going to be completely honest. First I see someone walking on the water. Then I realize it's my friend I've been hanging out with, and he says, hey, come on out here and walk with me. I'm going to be like, I'm thinking no right now.
But it's that level of faith that we have to have.
You do. You have to have that faith of a mustard seed.
Come and join me over here. Okay, I need to join you over there. Then it's about maintaining your focus at that point.
Absolutely.
And these challenges will come, and it's up to us, how that they're faith building exercises. And so, the challenges are good, and we just, do the best we can. And we will notice when we are failing. And we will notice when we are succeeding, but don't try to get too excited about the success, because in the end, that too shall pass.
Yes. Going back to the very first video,
this too shall
pass.
Yeah.
You ready?
Yeah.
How about some Cash Patel?
I love Cash Patel.
Let's do it.
Precedent has been set, though, Cash, that you get indicted and have to face jail time. Look at Steve Bannon.
Yeah.
And even though I believe it was wrong, I think Steve Bannon had actually executive privilege here. And so there's now a precedent where they better follow these subpoenas, or else a defiance of a congressional subpoena can mean jail time. Is that correct?
That's absolutely correct. But here's where we have a Department of Justice that is a two-tier system of justice.
No, of course, obviously, yes.
But here's the kicker. When you have a Department of Justice that you cannot rely on to fulfill a congressional subpoena and force people who violate it, Congress actually has this thing called inherent contempt of Congress powers, which means the Speaker of the House can send the Sergeant at Arms out and go and arrest anyone that defies a congressional subpoena.
Wow.
Now, if you want to see whether these Republicans actually have backbone, that's the law.
No, slow down.
They can do
slow
that.
down. So we got 45 seconds. I've never heard that before. Let's say Fauci defies a subpoena.
Yeah. He can be arrested by the Sergeant at Arms and held in detention.
Where?
Well, there are jail cells at the bottom of the Capitol building. People don't know that, but they're there.
You're blowing my mind, Cash. You got my mind thinking here. People say they're never get arrested. We'll see. I did not know that.
Thoughts, Santino?
Inherent contempt of Congress. I have not heard that. Well, now that Nancy Pelosi's gone, they're a little less contemptible than they used to be. But they kind of did that to themselves. Denise says he's been saying that for a long time. Yeah, it has been.
I think it's some of that predictive programming. I think he's
Yep.
getting people ready for
Mhm.
what's about to happen.
100%. I agree with you 100% there. I think that it has been said for a while, and we have seen the way that they have treated the Trump administration, and like Steve Bannon, right? And this is going to be one of those things where it's like, y'all set the precedent. You set the precedent. Now we get to follow through with the way you went about doing things. But at the same time, they are not there. So basically what they're doing is they're using their interpretations against them, because I'm pretty confident at this point in time that President Trump is in fact going to win the presidential election. Even people on the left are starting to
big
see
to
the writing.
rig.
Yeah, it is going to be too big to rig. And even the people on the left are starting to see the writing on the wall that they just can't, stay behind that horse anymore. That horse is, got one hoof in the glue factory at this point in time, right? So it's once the tables turn, the boomerang will happen that Q was talking about. That boomerang will happen, and these people will be brought to justice at a certain point in time, and it's going to be some pretty interesting justice to observe. And there's going to be a lot of show about all of it. There's going to be a lot of whining and complaining.
Not whining.
Whining and complaining.
Mm.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Chachi says, snatch them up, let them rot.
Yeah. Left them to rot.
Yeah.
Well, and I think that's going to happen. And again, this goes back to the Guantanamo Bay thing. They wanted to shut down Gitmo so bad. Well, I think that's because it's going to be some military tribunals. And a lot of the things point to that at this point in time, that it will be military. With the general, the comment about the peaceful transition of military power. Or to military power. I had to watch that video again. To military power. Yeah. So these things, they are all going to play out. And a lot of people are going to have their minds blown at that point in time. And that's where all of you come into play, because you're going to have to be the people to explain to everybody, okay, this is because of this. This is because of that. This is happening because they did this. And
people are going to need every single one of y'all.
Yeah.
Because you've been awake.
You have been awake.
And there's going to be people in your lives that are going to come to you that you tried to tell.
Okay.
Just remember.
Tell me what's going on with this.
Yeah, just
and I think
remember.
that a lot of us have kind of experienced that though, haven't we?
Yeah.
Where people have already started to come up and ask you.
And they're asking questions.
Yeah, they're starting to ask questions where they didn't ask questions before.
Right.
Yeah.
Denise says, even Temple was demanding arrests. The tide is turning.
The tide is turning.
Wendy says, can we have some cheese with the wine? You know what? It'd be
You know
better
what?
than popcorn at this point.
Well, that, and it might actually be real cheese at that point in time instead of some bioengineered crap.
Right. Denise says, no wine for the whiners, Wendy. Send them to the room until they can come out acting like a grown-up.
Wow, what a thought.
What a thought, Denise.
What a
Stop
thought.
having logic, girlfriend.
And reason.
I know. Yeah.
Madness.
But You
Yeah.
ready?
Oh, yeah.
Hello, big fan of you. But so we just had a podcast about inflation, and since it's rising a lot, I'm wondering if I can still have a good life like my mom and dad.
I love that. How old are you?
I'm 10 years old.
Answer is yes, you can have a great life, but your future is being stolen from you. You have never voted. You're 10 years old and you have leaders that hate you. But despite that, we're going to overcome all of it. We're going to build a better future. And I believe that's going to start in November. Is that your brother?
Yeah, that's my brother.
That's awesome. And how old are you?
12. So me and my brother are part of Gen Alpha. So I'm wondering, what advice do you have for Gen Alpha?
So at Turning Point Action, we're going to be knocking on hundreds of thousands of doors. And I deal with people all the time that are apathetic, and they're like, what's the point? I'd love to have them talk to a 12-year-old that cares more about the country than a 65-year-old who does, right? I mean, I think that every person that says it doesn't matter, I'm not going to vote, like, go look a Generation Alpha kid in the eyes and tell them that. And so what you can do, you need to go talk to as many people that can vote as possible and remind them you're actually the reason why they should vote. You two have more responsibility than most of your elders do. Gen Z, Gen Alpha, we're going to have to fix a lot of the mess that has been left us. And we're going to do that. And both of you guys give me great hope. God bless you guys.
Wow. Wow. Thoughts, Santina? Oh, hey, Plain Truth. How
Hey,
you doing?
Plain Truth, thanks for joining. So he's going through pretty much how everything's going to have to change, and it's going to change with Gen Alpha. I think it's kind of funny. We finished up the alphabet. Gen X, we were always the kind of unknown. They didn't know how we or what we were going to do. But I think that was to sit back and let everybody else do all the dumb shit and then come back in and say, okay, are y'all done yet? Because it's time to go back to the right way to do things, because we were one of the last generations to be taught the way of how this nation was supposed to be in the educational system. I know that some of these younger kids have gotten some of the education about what the Constitution is and stuff like that, but I don't believe that it's been impressed upon the young minds that it's about their freedom and that we don't have to take this crap from those who see themselves as somehow better than the law, because the Constitution was always about we are all equals here. That's what a citizen is. Now, with that being said, Gen Alpha is the start of the alphabet all over again. So Gen Alpha seems like, because they're young enough, because they haven't had all of the indoctrination at this point in time, I think that that's going to be one of our greatest hopes, because those children can have the opportunity to be taught things the way the Boy Scouts used to do things, the way the Girl Scouts used to do things, about that self-sufficiency, about what the Constitution and our founding documents were about, and teach these kids all the way back that there is a long line. The Magna Carta, so many writings from some of the greats like John Locke, who inspired Thomas Jefferson. And so these are the things that we need to make sure that we're going back to, and that all of these superfluous kind of degrees that don't have any practical application, like what is a man or what is a woman, I think that society as a whole is recognizing that is not a meaningful, it has no meaning to society as a whole moving forward. I think that we will have a lot more people go into psychology, maybe. I think that I can see that industry expanding quite a bit. And trying to help people get through this stuff. But at the same time, once everybody starts waking up, once they start opening their eyes in mass, once the Great Awakening, once the awakening is occurring through a majority of the people, I think that at that point in time, people will naturally recognize, wow, this shit that they sold us, it was just a bill of goods, and it had absolutely no value to it whatsoever. And so people will go back to the crafts and the trades, and those crafts and trades will be the foundation for which we build upon moving forward in the future, because those crafts and trades will actually provide value to everybody else around them. And we'll probably take a much closer look in terms of, like, do sports stars really deserve to make the kind of money that they're making to play a child's game on television? I think that we will go back to more family-focused kind of endeavors, and we'll actually watch the kids play those games, and we will learn how to encourage them in a better manner, so that way they become better human beings. So it's kind of a waiting game right now, but at the same time, we have to have that hope, because we do know that it will get better. This cannot persist without a complete loss of our own humanity. Jenny says, wasn't that great? Let me try this again. Wasn't that great to see 10 and 12 year olds asking questions and being concerned? And, kids that age do have those mental faculties. And a lot of us have been told that, well, they're not of age yet. They're not, this or that or the other thing, their brain is still developing. Yes, it is still developing, but the brain is a muscle. And once it's exercised, it will grow stronger and stronger. If you don't exercise the brain muscle, it will atrophy just like your regular muscles. And so we need to make sure that our kids are getting smarter and smarter. And this is going to be one of the greatest things that we see moving forward, is that the kids will get smarter and they will find better ways than we could even imagine on how to make society a better place. Denise says those young men have patriots for parents. Yes, they do. Yes, they do. And they help them see things differently. And that's exactly what they needed to see.
Chachi says kids with this great attitude and intelligence would not exist if not for the turmoil of the last few years.
I agree 100%.
Wendy says they can't read the Constitution because they can't read cursive.
Yeah, teach your grandkids cursive. Teach your kids cursive.
Yeah. Denise says AI can read a translation to them, though, Wendy. Exactly.
Well, and that's to shut down people's own thought process. I'd say that that's probably the biggest problem with all of this digital madness that we're going through right now, is that people are deferring their own abilities, their own intelligence, their own wisdom, their own intuitions for the sake of what a computer says. And that is one of the things that is killing the very humanity, the very thing that makes us human.
Right.
We will make mistakes, but at the same time, there's creativity that can only be done through the expansion of what the human, machine can be or is. Jenny says, my son is 8 and is learning cursive. See?
Yeah.
There we
You
go.
know what?
If the schools won't teach it, we have to.
We have to.
Mhm.
Absolutely. Jenny also says it's refreshing when kids that sit in my chair have questions about what's going on. And it really is. Steph says, right. So true, Wendy. And I've gotten my kids copies of it because my kids do both part cursive and part, she meant print. And they call that Dylan handwriting. Dillian handwriting.
All right. Well, so with cursive, again, everybody has a different art. And being able to write in beautiful fonts and scripts is something that is important. I know that when my grandpa was in World War II, I remember him telling me stories that there were people that were on the aircraft carrier that he was on that people would pay to rewrite their messages in a beautiful script or a font. So that way the people back home could read it and it would be something they knew that it was something that would be treasured. And so that is, again, an art or a craft. I would say that that's an art. It would certainly be an artistic endeavor. And I think that that's something that is being denied for the people that is their unique art.
Absolutely. So, one of the things we all have to remember is regardless of what they're teaching in school, we can still teach it.
Yeah, they can still be taught.
Yeah.
Their minds are like sponges and need to take advantage of that while it's still spongy and they start to think that they know absolutely everything.
Absolutely. You ready?
Yeah.
By popular demand after this tweet went viral on the internet, today we're talking about that time that 8 Marines went toe-to-toe against DARPA's artificial intelligence in an epic battle
Oh, Lord.
of wits and
Smith.
won. Inconceivable. Okay, so here's the deal. That tweet is a picture of half a page from a book that hasn't even come out yet. That book is For Battlegrounds by Paul Scher, and it comes out next month, February 2023. And I actually reached out and got a hold of Paul to get the whole story, and here's what I found out. Once upon a time in 2019, DARPA had a program known as Squad X. The overall goal of this program was to be able to integrate an autonomous AI with an infantry unit, RoboGrunt. They wanted to make RoboGrunt. Basically, they were going to take an artificial intelligence, shove it inside of a flying drone or a little car drone or inside of a robot dog, and it was going to follow the grunts out into battle and act as an early warning system. Using cameras and sensors, it would be able to identify enemies from way further out than a human ever could. Not a terrible idea. So DARPA got to work. They built the robots, they built the AI, but then they actually had to train the AI how to identify people. And apparently the best way to do this was by just actually doing it. So they brought in 8 Marines for a week to help train this artificial intelligence. And for the first 6 days, it went great. Basically, the AI just watched the Marines walk around and do things a human would do, while the computer engineers helped teach the algorithm what it was looking at. But then on the 7th day, DARPA would make a classic tactical error by challenging the Marines. Apparently, with only 6 days of training, they wanted to see how well their artificial intelligence would stack up against the Marine Corps' 100% organic cran-fed fuckery. I'm gonna give you a hint, it didn't go well. The challenge was they were gonna set the robot up out in the open,
Language
and the Marines
warning.
had to start from like 1,000 yards away, and they had to sneak up on the robot and touch it without ever being identified as a human. As soon as they said go, the first 2 Marines took off doing somersaults for the entire 1,000 yards. They made it all the way to the robot completely unidentified. And I can only assume that it is at this point that the computer engineers realized that they were going to have a bad day, because it only got more ridiculous from there. Another Marine went out in the woods, stripped all the branches off of a fir tree, dressed himself up like a tree, and then slowly, and I quote, walked like a fir tree all the way to the robot. And then my personal favorite example, 2 Marines found a large box and then proceeded to do the old Metal Gear Solid trick where they use the Amazon Prime print camouflage to sneak all the way up to the robot and touch it. According to the author, you could actually hear them audibly giggling from inside the box the entire time. And this raises one very important question. How mad were these engineers? So I asked the author.
Well, in this case, I mean, it's a DARPA project, so it's just experimental, and they're trying to push the bounds. I don't know, I can't speak to the engineers. I mean, they might not have appreciated it. Maybe they did appreciate someone highlighting these problems. The program manager who relayed the anecdote to me was really pleased because they learned something. Right, they learned about the limitations of the system, and you'd really much rather find that out in a training environment than when you do it overseas in a war zone and the enemy does it. But you know, it's good that they found it out early rather than before they'd invested hundreds of millions of dollars into this.
Okay, fine. Well, if he's not going to speak for the engineers, that leaves it open to my interpretation, and I think it went something like this.
I hate them.
In conclusion, I think the big takeaway from this story is that artificial intelligence is nowhere near ready to go toe-to-toe with the American grunt on the battlefield. Because regardless of how smart it is or how smart it gets, it's never going to be able to figure out what the grunts are doing until they're already doing it. Because the grunts don't know what they're doing until they're doing it. And you can't be 3 steps ahead of somebody that never knows where they're going. Because at the end of the day, historically speaking, the American military's only ever had one plan, and that's to show up and improvise. If you made it all the way to the end of this video, thank you for watching. Best way to support the channel is go buy some merch at thefatelectrician.com. Quack bang out.
Thoughts, Santino?
That's
These are
awesome.
your peeps.
They are my peeps. That's exactly who those peeps are too. It's amazing, and it's a perfect highlight in terms of those who design these kinds of projects, that there are so many variables that they have not even considered. And it will create a much longer process for them to try to even make it so that way these pieces of equipment can identify threats because of the creativity of each and every human being. And the fact that they did the Metal Gear Solid thing is walked up to this DARPA, machine, this machine of death, and it wasn't even able to identify him. So always trust that human ingenuity will always be able to outmatch a computer that can only work off of inputs and outputs, and that it doesn't do any original thinking. It doesn't do any kind of it doesn't create original thoughts. It only creates outputs. And once we recognize that, then it becomes a lot easier to recognize that this thing, at least as for right now, that this thing, the AI, is not all powerful. It's not all knowing. It is not Skynet from Terminator. It is
Rambo.
still in. Hey, Rambo, thanks for showing up, brother. it is still in those early phases where it can be dealt with. And I would say that it's good that we're seeing that these are the kind of projects that are being done, because most people recognize that AI can be a very big problem. Elon Musk has spoken out about that specifically. And I do believe that once Trump gets in office, we'll be able to have a real conversation that has been denied to us up to this point, because these large projects, the bureaucracy has expanded to meet the needs of the expanding bureaucracy.
Don't go there.
Look, DARPA is one of those things where there's just a lot of money, and it's going to find a way to use every penny and to need more. Denise says, yeah, but Santino, it's the USMC. Come on. Yeah. Oh, look, I get it. The Marines are the biggest bunch of smart asses I think I've ever met. And I love them for it each and every day. And I'm glad to see that things haven't changed, because Marines can figure out a way to break the unbreakable. They can move the unmovable, and they can make anything happen that somebody told them that they can't do.
Absolutely.
It's just their nature.
It
That's
really
why they become Marines.
is. Yes.
Can't tell me what to do.
Absolutely, Carol. Please go back and watch Rambo show. It was absolutely amazing. I'm going to say it again. I said it at the beginning of the show. If you didn't get a chance to watch it this morning, please, by all means, go back and watch it. It was absolutely amazing conversation. It's my opinion.
I think your opinion matters here.
I'm just saying, I think it's worth going and watching.
So what do you think about the Leathernecks and AI?
I think y'all are so crazy that, of course, you could break it.
Yeah. Challenge accepted.
Exactly. I mean, it is what it is. I mean, being around your kind.
Your kind.
Your kind.
I guess we can go there. That's fine.
For so long. It's just who you guys are. You know, if something is brought to you guys and you're told, you know, this is unbreakable, you guys do accept that as a challenge. So, yeah, I could see them absolutely going, AI, watch this. So,
because the people who are writing it only have so much life experience.
Yes, I went there, Denise. I'm allowed, though. I've been married to him for like 25 years.
Something like that. That's such a long time.
I know.
Yeah.
So, you ready?
Yeah, I'm ready.
We have Miss Jenny.
Jenny.
Maybe.
Does she need?
I just want to encourage everyone to use cash. Anyone that says.
Thank you, Agent Smith. We appreciate you showing up today. Have a good day.
No, kiss my ass.
No.
I just want to encourage
See
everyone
yourself
to use
out.
cash. Anyone that goes to these woke coffee shops and they say, we don't accept cash anymore. Look on the front of a dollar bill. It says, this note is legal tender for all debts, public and private. No one has the ability to deny you using cash. So leave them the right change on the table and tell them to have a nice day. They cannot make you pay with a credit card. That is actually insurrectionist. If these businesses are denying you the ability to use legal tender of the United States government. I had never thought of that. We see in China, they really don't accept cash anymore. And it's become the ultimate surveillance state. Cash is freedom.
Exactly. And that's exactly why they don't want to accept cash, because cash is so much harder to track. Gee, I wonder why. I'm sure they're trying to figure out a way to do that.
Oh, they have.
But if you don't give them a card, they can't tell you, they can't look and see exactly what you did. You know, what time did you get up? What time did you eat breakfast? What time? It's ridiculous. So use cash whenever you freaking want to. And don't let anyone tell you we don't accept cash. Bitch, yes, you do.
Yeah. Or you don't have a right to continue to do business. And I think that that's the important part. And yeah, Eric Prince, he is a genius. And if y'all don't know who he is, he's the guy who started Blackwater, and then everything that was surrounding that. But I believe that a lot of that was the fact that they were attacking him because he didn't necessarily want to play the way the swamp creatures wanted him to play. And I think that he is most certainly playing some kind of a part in all of this process that we're going through of getting our country back. Who was that? Jenny. Jenny said cash is king. It doesn't get any more accurate than that. Cash is king.
Absolutely.
That's why real tinder has always been some kind of a precious metal, copper, silver, gold, or any number of things. Hey, thanks, brother.
Rambo.
Appreciate you hitting that thumbs up. And hitting that pilled over on the red pill over on Pilled. Do appreciate that. We do appreciate all the digital love. The cash is king. I know that a lot of people are kind of comfortable with the digital currencies, and I think that's great. That there may be some anonymity to it, but I also understand at the same time that you can kind of track every transaction. And is it a bad thing for people to be able to track the transactions? Not always. Sometimes we do want that tracking. That's why receipts were made. If you paid your landlord in cash and you didn't get a receipt, your landlord always had the ability to say, I never got anything. And so you had to make sure that you got a receipt. That's where checks came in. That's where, that's why the cards were made so convenient, because it did create that register for you. And so we've gotten very comfortable with that, but the problem is now they've taken it to the point where the banks feel like that they can send off a note to Uncle Sugar every time you spend $600. Every time somebody gives you $600, Uncle Sugar wants to know where it's at. And Big Daddy Deep Talk.
What was it for?
What was that for? Got to fill out forms. That's none of your damn business.
I know. It's so ridiculous.
And so we do need to have cash. I think cash should always be around. Should people be trustworthy that we can not have to worry about having the government track people that are doing nefarious things? Yeah, that would be nice. But at the same time, if you give up a little bit of liberty, then you deserve, if you give up a little bit of freedom for a little bit of security. If you give up freedom for a little bit of security, then you deserve neither freedom nor security. That was Benjamin Franklin, if I remember correctly. And so we do have to have a lack of security for that freedom, because the freedom makes it easier for the people to remain free. Because if somebody can't watch each and everything you're doing, then they can't tell you that you're doing something wrong. Exactly. When you know darn good and well that in your heart, your actions are pure. And we need to be able to follow who we are. And that's a denying of each and every person's freedom from unreasonable searches and seizures.
Exactly. And honestly, $600, especially in Bidenomics, is nothing. They don't need to know what you're spending. Yeah, you can't even get a whole cart of groceries almost for freaking $600 anymore. So really, they don't need to know what you're spending $600 on.
I noticed that they started making the carts smaller now.
I know, just to make you feel like you're getting a bunch.
Yeah, because, $200 used to fill up a cart back in the day. Of course, $100 used to fill up a cart back in the day. But those were much bigger carts. And so I think psychologically it's another game. Have any of y'all noticed that the grocery carts are getting smaller? Are they starting to switch out the big grocery carts for smaller ones? And I think that that's one more mind game that's constantly played to get people used to the idea. Oh, okay, well, this is the new normal now.
Yes.
And we have to keep in mind.
Just like the mask.
Yeah.
And that's why so many people still wear them. New normal. It's my whoopee. It's my whoopee.
Their face whoopee.
I know.
Get your face whoopee off.
Oh, it's so annoying.
Ridiculous.
It really is. I mean, if you want to wear a face whoopee, wear a face whoopee. It's just, I don't want to.
Oh, there we go. Denise.
Yep. My main grocer has gone to smaller carts. Exactly. Because they're doing the programming. Oh, look, You're still filling up the cart.
Mhm.
No, you're really
Yeah,
not.
$200 goes as far as it used to. See, it still fills up a cart.
No.
Well, it's the same
Lies.
thing with what they've
Lies,
been
lies,
doing
lies.
with the canned foods, where they just put more water in it, and you get less
Yes.
of the green beans or corn, or if it's even corn anymore, whatever's in the can. We know.
Show off, Carol.
Well, I mean, it's Texas. Everything's bigger than Texas.
Yeah. Mhm. Wendy says, I remember going to the commissary with my mom as a kid and filling 2 of those old deep
The
carts.
deep carts back in the
for
day.
200, and we ate good.
Mhm.
Exactly.
Yeah, well, the dollar was
And
worth more,
exactly.
and the
Well,
commissary didn't screw people.
Exactly. I remember. And I mean, I could go to the commissary still. And you guys are going to think I'm funny. The reason why I don't go to the commissary right now is because they don't have off brands, and I don't want the bioengineered crap.
Yeah, everything, and that
Everything's
would have been
name
nice
brand.
back in the day, but there is no, store brand stuff anymore. I took your joke. My bad. Do better next time, Wendy. I'll do better next time, Wendy.
There you go. You
There we go.
ready?
Yeah, let's drive on.
Excuse me? Could you give me 3 things you love about each other?
I'll go first. We always say ladies first. I love him, first of all, because he loves the Lord Jesus Christ with all his heart. He shows me love. He's always courteous and kind to me. And, well, we're sharing 10 great-grandbabies right now. And that's a blessing.
What are 3 things you love about your loving wife?
The first one would have to be the same as hers. She knew the Lord as her Savior. The second would probably be because she has a gift of mercy, and she's needed it from time to time, occasionally a lot of it. The third would have to be she's always available.
And how long have you folks been together?
Well, married
65 years this coming July.
And so after 65 plus years together, what would you say is the key to maintaining a loving, happy relationship?
Honoring God.
We dated for a couple. I was in the service for 2 years. I was a tanker in the Army, and but we waited. And what's real and important is what we.
Kathy and Walt.
Kathy and Walt, thank you so much for your time, and I wish you both many more years of love and happiness together.
Aw, that's so sweet.
That was sweet.
Thoughts, Santino.
It's. I will say. So I was asking myself the same questions. What is it about my wife? And I will say that.
Oh, Rambo, thank you.
Oh, thanks, brother. We appreciate that, Rambo. Oh, that's amazing. We appreciate that, brother. That Kay helped turn me on to God. I mean, I always believed in God. I didn't know much of anything about him. I felt that everything I was being told was a lie. And a lot of that's on me. But at the same time, Kay was the one who was consistently there trying to get me to see the light. And it has changed me significantly. And I'm still changing each and every day. Lord knows I need to keep growing. And I would say that that's one of the important things. One of the other things is that Kay keeps growing, and it encourages me to continue to grow as well, because we don't want to stagnate. We don't want to remain the same. So July 7th will be 25 years, right? No, wait. No, 25 since, wait, what is this? 4?
We've been
Since we
together
met.
25.
Been together 25, whatever it is,
So July will be 23 years we've been married.
We've been married. There we go. Okay, so that's what it is. And so 25 years together. And there's been a lot of growth. There's been a lot of growth from both of us. And I'm really excited about that. And I would say that the third thing that makes her special to me is that she makes me want to be better. And not because she's changing, not because she believes in Christ, but because I see that she deserves better than anything I had given up to today at this point in time. I may be better than yesterday, but I know that I can be even better tomorrow. And it's not It's not an easy thing, and I don't always grow every single day. Sometimes it's 2 steps forward, 1 step back. Sometimes it's 2 steps back, 1 step forward. But those days are much fewer than the actual days where there's more growth. And so the fact that she makes me want to be a better person tells me that that's one of the things that's most important to me. And to see that old couple lets me know that I know that they went through trials. I know that it wasn't always easy. And I think that
it was not
communication,
always sunshine and lollipops.
no, wasn't rainbow, rainbows and unicorn farts.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Exactly. And that's something that I think a lot of people forget, is that, you gotta remember why you're with that person, and I agree with Santino. I do want to be a better person every day for him, and not just for him, but for everyone around me, and he's been there through, a lot of tough times for me, like me almost dying in a car accident and going through 8 surgeries, and being there. So it's through lots of communication and lots of love and lots of working through things. And, are things always perfect? No, but we're human. And so therefore we have to be willing to have those moments. And sometimes it's okay to say, hey, I screwed up, let's talk about it. Or sometimes it's okay just to say, hey, I'm not ready to talk right now. Give me a little bit and then we'll talk. So, but just to move forward is amazing, because I think so many people end up just wanting to throw a relationship away.
It's easy
when they shouldn't.
No, they shouldn't
At all.
We should always want to grow.
Always.
Oh, thank you, Steph. Appreciate that. How much are we paying a week for groceries?
A week?
Yeah.
Probably
I
about
was talking back to one of the comments here.
Probably about 200.
Okay, about 200.
Yeah.
3 adults. Yeah. Okay.
That's what yeah. Sometimes more, sometimes less, it just really depends. But on average, about 200 a week. Most of the time more.
Yeah, well, thanks, Biden.
Yeah.
Clown.
I know.
Even though clowns are racist now, or whatever the hell clowns are.
Oh my goodness. I don't even like clowns, and now I just want everyone to be able to have clowns.
Clown emojis.
Yeah. It's ridiculous. Are you ready?
Yeah.
We're going to talk about, Hunter Biden.
Hunter.
So the White House special counsel has now confirmed that the Hunter Biden laptop and all the information contained on it is real. And they did that by entering it as evidence against Hunter Biden. See, you wouldn't be able to do that unless that laptop had been confirmed as credible. You wouldn't be able to do that unless the information on that laptop, every single bit of it, had been confirmed to be credible. But here's the quote from the White House special counsel. The defendant's laptop is real and will be introduced as a trial exhibit, and it contains significant evidence of the defendant's guilt. There you go, liberals. This shit ain't up for debate anymore. That laptop was Hunter Biden's. The information on that laptop was Hunter Biden's. All the evidence of guilt that Hunter Biden had on that laptop for various crimes is true. It will be used as evidence in the trial against Hunter Biden. And according to the White House special counsel, that evidence is significant. I mean, don't get me wrong. It's really fucking sad that we had to wait 4 years to prove this, because we all knew it was true from the beginning. But you know what? Better late than never. Now let's get this Hunter Biden trial started.
First of all, clowns give me the creeps too. I don't like them.
She hates
But
clowns.
I still believe anyone should be able to use the damn clown emojis.
Yeah.
But moving on to
Well, hold on. I got a clown comment.
crackhead Hunter, go ahead.
Just like I saw Ringling Brothers when I was a kid. I don't even think they're a thing anymore. They shut that down. Thanks, Obama. Anyways, the circus and I don't know. It was just a good childhood memory for me. But I understand everybody can see the creepiness that can very well be clowns.
Yeah.
Okay. I think we're done with the clown talk.
Okay. Now on to Hunter.
Yeah. Now on to Hunter. Do you want to go first?
Nope. Thoughts.
Okay. So it's submitted into evidence. Isn't that great news? And this is one more of those things. Now that it's in there, they can't hide from it. They can't run from it. It is now official evidence, and it's being listed as factual. And so this is one more of those things. They spent how many years trying to tell everybody it was BS? And so what's the long term? Yeah, many years, well, at least 3 or 4 years, telling us that the laptop from hell was a fabrication. It was all a lie.
Blah, blah, blah.
Yeah, blah, blah, blah. And so what's going to happen is people are going to remember who was telling us that laptop was a lie, and that boomerang is going to come back, and now they've lost their credibility. And I think that that's one of the big important things at this point is that credibility is lost. It's lost in certain institutions. It's lost in certain individuals, and it will have a detrimental effect to the person who's currently residing at 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue. And that credibility that he has will be absolutely destroyed because so many people thought that it was fake. They didn't bother looking into it. And now they're going to be given this evidence, and they're going to have to accept it as fact. And now their worldview is going to be blown. Right? And so that worldview being blown away and finding out what the elites or those who deem themselves to be our, I don't know, royal class or whatever the hell they think they are, they're not. But with that being said, that will definitely take them off the pedestal that they have used the media and the news and everything to include each and every TV show out there.
Exactly.
You know, people will stop trying to keep up with so many of these people because they'll now see who they really are and what it leads to. And I think that once, actually, I know in my heart that once people are actually accepting the reality of what's on that laptop and what that, all of that information, what it represents, and that's what it takes, to even sell art, his art, right?
Art.
That is going to completely upend the art industry, because people are going to ask, okay, that ugly whatever it is, did they get that simply because they were doing the things that Hunter was doing on the laptop because they're in those little circles? And so people will start saying, what is beauty? And they'll start asking, is that painting beautiful or not? And we won't need the critics and the experts, to tell us what is good and what is bad. Like Siskel and Ebert. How many people woke up from Siskel and Ebert and said, these people have no good idea as to what a good movie is. They were just telling us what movies that we should be going to see.
Should be.
Should be.
Yes.
Yeah.
But that's what they want to do.
Mhm.
They're constantly telling people what you should be doing instead of allowing people to think on their own.
Mm-hmm.
And what's sad is there's too many people that are willing to be told what they should be doing, which is why so many people try and keep up with the Joneses, because they believe that they should be doing that.
Who are these Joneses?
I don't know. They sound like kind of buttheads.
They
to
sound
me.
like they're kind of stuck up.
Yeah.
Why is everybody trying to copy somebody else? Be
I don't
authentic.
know.
Be authentically you.
Exactly. And by the way, hi, Miss Tammy. Thank you for watching us over on X, since Rumble is
Hi,
kind
Tammy.
of being a butthead.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, you ready?
Yeah.
They are hiding this from you. Did you know that the Great Wall of China is 13,171 miles long? And why has it always been downplayed throughout history? To put that in perspective, from the east to the west coast of America, it is on average 3,000 miles. You have to times that by 4 and add 1,000, and you're still not at that number. It leaves you to wonder, How did they build such a wall, and why? Did you even know that China was that big? They started to build the Great Wall of China in 220 BC, before Jesus had even walked the earth. No sane ruler or country would dedicate that many resources and power to build something with no purpose, especially if they knew it would take over 1,000 years to build the finished wall. Who were they defending against that they needed all 13,000 miles to even fathom winning? What or who were they so scared of? The theory is that the wall was built by the Tartarian Empire. If you look at old maps and photos, you would see that the steep side of the Great Wall and the lookout post is actually facing China. Normally, those sides be used to prevent any invaders from climbing up or to pick off enemies with crossbows. The fact that it faces China implies it was built by someone else, the Tartarians, to keep whatever was in China in, rather than defend what was in China. Follow to learn more.
Very interesting thoughts, Santino.
So we've kind of touched on all these points separately, but I think that it's important that it was all put together here. I forget how long the Great Wall of China is. 13,000 miles is a lot of miles.
It's a lot of
Build a wall on mountainous terrain. And it would require a lot of desire to get something like that done. And what would cause that kind of desire? And I think that that's one of the great mysteries about the Great Wall of China, let alone the fact that it's actually facing toward China. But that does point to the fact that the whole Tartaria thing does hold a little bit more kind of relevance. The Tartaria story is it kind of points to that a little bit more. And I think that this is one more of those things that as we come out of this sleep that we've been in, as this great awakening continues, we will get these kinds of information about what the real history was, as opposed to his story. And so I know that there's a lot of answers in there. I feel that there's a lot of answers in the Great Wall of China, but there's just not enough information, at least for me, to try to really pick up on what it was about. What was that threat from China? And so, yeah,
The problem is, though, is China is so locked down and they hide so much stuff that that's where it becomes difficult.
So there's a lot there. And I look forward to that, because I think that, like you said, Kay, and that was an excellent point, that China is very locked down in terms of the information. It's like trying to, go into the archives of the Vatican. You're not going to get that information anytime soon, if ever in your lifetime. So, we it's one more reason, if nothing else, just to find out what is it that was really going on, because that is a masterpiece in engineering, and it is a masterpiece in human ingenuity and what can be done. Chachi says a lot of classic kung fu flicks mention the Manchurians as barbaric invaders. Manchurians are from the area of Tartaria. Makes sense. They'd use movie propaganda to hide the truth. Yes, they would. They would use that. Wow, thanks, Chachi. That kind of sets us off in the right direction. Yeah, they gotta continue the lie by destroying the truth and then telling the lie as if it were the truth.
Hey, Aaron.
Hey, Aaron, what's going on? Thanks for joining, brother.
Very interesting. Very, very interesting. So we're going to talk about the VA, your favorite subject.
Some executives in the VA got paid some erroneous bonuses. Basically, what happened is that almost $11 million of funds were allocated for people with critical skills, right? I assume as incentives to get them to continue to work for the VA. And a lot of it, well, all of that got paid to VA executives. That's the short version. The long version I will make into, long form content. This is going to be a fun one. Apparently some of the executives, the VA executives, are now upset because they've already spent that money that they got as bonuses. Some of them got 100 grand. Anybody who's spent any amount of time in the military or pretty much just government in general knows that the government just not just give out money. It's really hard for me to believe that these people that got paid didn't know or have any idea that something was up. But who knows? Maybe they didn't know. Maybe it was, maybe it was all just a miscommunication. I'm going to gather all the facts that I can, and then I'm going to deliver you guys an excellent video on the topic.
Thoughts, Santino?
Did you want to go first on this one?
Oh, yeah, I kind of do
well,
on this one.
Go for it.
Because anyone who's been in the military, who's ever worked for the DOD, any military, they know that if 50 cents is overpaid to them, the government is going to come looking for that 50 cents. So there is no way that these people who got 100 grand would look at their pay and go, "Aw, look, they love me. They really love me." No, they would not. Hey, Turber, how are you doing? They would not. They would know. They would immediately pick up the phone and go, "Hey, what's going on? Why is this in my bank account? And what do we need to do to rectify this? Is this really mine? No, it's not. Okay, take it back now."
Well, the way they do, well, and they won't take it back. They'll just take it out of your next check. And we've had that happen where we got overpaid on something. I don't remember what it was. It's been so long ago. Got overpaid on something and called the finance Marines and said, "Hey, what's up with this?" They're like, "Oh, that's a mistake." It's like, "Okay, can you take this back?" "No, we can't. But you won't get a paycheck for 2.5 pay periods." "Oh, wow. Thanks. So budget well." All right.
Yes.
Well, I guess we don't have a choice now, do we? And that's the way it works. Why anybody would think, and they're going to try to use that excuse, but if you spent more than 30 seconds in the military, the government cares about their money, right? That's what it all boils down to in the end is the money.
Exactly.
And so when the government doesn't get their money, they start doing ridiculous things to make sure that they get their money back. Right. And so when these executives, you don't get to if they're executives, I'm going to assume that they're senior executive service that's done by appointment. Those appointments mean that those people have a very good understanding of how the government works. Now, question is that understanding inclusive of how the things really work out there in the swamp? And they thought that because they had some kind of understanding that they deserved to get their little, kind of kickback from the system. Otherwise, they were going to go ahead and start singing like a bird. And so is this a possibility that people are going to start pointing out every one of the inefficiencies because nobody wants to be left without a chair when the music stops? And so I think that this is something that's really going to help veterans out, because if you want to talk about a bureaucracy that's expanding to meet the need of the expanding bureaucracy, the Veterans Administration is probably one of the better places to observe that kind of crap happening. And I hate to say that because I have friends that I served with who are amazing people and doing absolutely everything they can to make sure things are run the way they're supposed to be ran, but they can only do so much with their little piece of the pie. And it's a really big pie with really small pieces. So I pray that there's a house cleaning, because I would love to be able to use my GI Bill to get educated, which I've tried to do. And because of that bureaucracy with the Veterans Administration, I was unable to continue. And they put all that crap on my credit report, even though the VA and the representatives at the college were the ones who did not do their job. And so now
we even had proof.
Yeah, we've got the proof. We got the proof. But I haven't been able to go to college because of that. So poof, there goes that benefit that you're told about as to why you should join the military. And then the other problems is that we know that they don't take care of the veterans. That's why there's so many homeless veterans out there. The VA home loan, I found that that's an absolute bullshit program as well. Are people getting their VA home loan? Most assuredly. But at the same time, there are, and we have the receipts for it, and there should be absolutely no reason why we weren't able to buy a condo after the market crashed in 2009. House prices were in the dumps. Our credit was good enough, and it
Credit
was
great enough. What are you talking about?
and we were able to show that we were going to pay $500 a month less than what we were currently paying at the place we were renting from. And that includes any and all of the incidentals. And so, and we were able to prove that, but for some reason it didn't happen. So maybe it's just the bureaucracy. But if they say that they're going to guarantee that you get to go to college, the college should say, okay, you know what? We're a big institution and we have a lot of money, and we're not going to make sure that it's on you to pay for the government screw ups. And if they guarantee that you get a house, then you should get a house, especially if you're just asking for a condo instead of asking for some $500,000 kind of mansion, which we were not doing.
No.
We were asking for a small condo. So screw you, VA. And you know what? I hope you have the day you deserve.
Absolutely.
And if you think you
Absolutely.
deserve that bonus, explain why the system is so broken.
Facts. Facts.
That's all I have to say about that.
You ready?
Mm-hmm.
About a portion of this that I think does fall under your portfolio, and that's the charging stations you mentioned. The Federal Highway Administration says only 7 or 8 charging stations have been produced with a $7.5 billion investment that taxpayers made back in 2021. Why isn't that happening more quickly?
So the president's goal is to have 500,000 chargers up by the end of this decade. Now, in order to do a charger, it's more than just plunking a small device into the ground. There's utility work, and this is also really a new category of federal investment. But we've been working with each of the 50 states. Every one of them is getting formula dollars to do this work,
7 or
engaging
8,
them in
though?
the first handful, again, by 2030, 500,000 chargers. And the very first handful of chargers are now already being physically built.
Was that booty juice?
I think that was Booty Juice. Thank you, Secretary Booty Juice.
Thank you, Secretary Booty Juice.
So,
Thoughts?
$1 billion per charging station.
That's bullshit.
So, who wants to start a charging station building business with me?
Right?
I mean, not that the dollar's going to be
Rambo?
worth much of anything,
Come on, Rambo.
right? So, there's absolutely no reason why they shouldn't have more than one for each $1 billion. Booty giggle. There's absolutely no reason why they shouldn't have 700 of them. And they're not even trying. See, that tells me that $1 billion per charging station.
She wants to.
All right, we got to figure this one out, because I hear there's money in putting up charging stations.
$1 billion apiece.
We can save the government so much money.
No, we
A
won't.
yeah, we will.
No.
A $500 million a charging station. A half a
Three
billion.
quarters.
We'll figure it out.
Okay, I'm the accountant. 3/4.
Yeah, well, whatever. Even at a $500 million a charging station, I think we'd be okay.
Yeah.
And if you want to know where your money's going, it might have something to do with
Yeah.
$1 billion charging stations.
I know. Apparently, we need to start DTOO charging stations,
Right?
and we could
Send a bill to
all
Uncle
make
Sugar.
lots of money. Every single one of us.
Oh yeah, make some good money.
Aaron says, Santino, you really think those are so obscene for money laundering purposes?
Hey, look, I'm not an economist, but I'm gonna say that it sure looks like it. Like if I had my magic 8 ball, it would say it looks so. Yeah, someone's getting those billions.
Exactly.
And payoffs have to happen, or at least that's how it would happen in some kind of corrupt form of government. But I know that they're not corrupt. No, we can't do that one, Aaron.
No.
No.
See,
That's
and
one I
yes,
wouldn't even play
Wendy,
with.
It
would
would
pay for Mobville.
pay for Mobville, and that would be amazing because we could have so much
Put
fun.
7 charging stations up,
Mhm.
and that's what will fund Mobville.
At half or at the full pop.
Well, I mean, it depends on how nice, how Tartaria do you want it to look like?
I mean, we might as well make it look nice.
Well, then let's
I mean,
go
this
for the
is our family.
you
We
know,
want it to be nice for them.
ask for the money. Just ask for the full
Yeah.
1 billion per.
Yeah. I'm telling you, 3/4, we'd still be
3/4.
good.
Well, yeah, at 3/4 we could have everything made out of hand-hewn granite. I'm just saying.
I know.
Granite, marble, whatever.
Whatever.
Have
Whatever
rocks
we
sent in
want.
from Egypt. Whatever.
Italy.
Italy.
You know. Wendy says, "Go for
Yeah,
broke."
go for broke. Why not? Hey, look, if the going rate is $1 billion per, why shake up the market?
Because we could get more business if we went at 3/4. Just
What, work
undercut
twice
them a
as
little
hard?
bit.
Work twice as hard? No. You know what? I think we should ask him for full pop. Plus, the dollar's going to be so much weaker by the time we get around to it.
You know.
Yeah, just saying.
Just saying.
Just saying.
You ready?
Yeah.
This man, his name is, he calls himself Mar Mary, but his name is Robert Schliemann. He is not a member of the Assyrian Church of the East. He's never been member of the Assyrian Church of the East. We do not recognize his teachings. We completely forbid him from entering into any of our churches. He was ordained by the ancient Church of the East, by Metropolitan Mar Yaqub. Then he was defrauded. It means he was suspended from his church. Now he doesn't belong to no church.
But you know why all these things happen? Because majority of people have walked away from the Lord Jesus. Drifted. I'm talking about Christians. Have walked away from the Lord Jesus. Look at us. Till now, Christians are attacking one another. Why are you attacking? Oh, your faith is not my faith. Don't listen to this big person. Be careful. And if you're this warrior, why don't you go and face the world's current and be a man and talk like a man? Instead of attacking your brother Christian. Shame on you. So you come and attack a Christian because you know I'm not going to retaliate, yes? So you say, oh yeah, he's because the Lord taught us to love one another. But you have no guts to face the world because you're a coward. That's why you don't talk about what's happening. Go now and say to your government, why are you embracing LGBT? If you're a man and if you're a Christian, go. Stand and face your government. Shame on you. Cowards.
You know, it's really sad that Christians are attacking Christians and that because Mari speaks his mind, they're going after him because he's not doing exactly what they want him to do.
I mean, he said a lot of things that pissed a lot of people off. But you can't tell the truth if you're worried about offending people. And if I'm not mistaken, he has been an amazing truth teller, and that's exactly why they want to silence him. I noticed that all of the claims that were laid against him, they just said what he was, that he was defraud or whatever. Didn't say what he was defraud about. Was it because he refused to toe the line? See, they left a lot of important information out as they were sitting there talking about that he's not a part of any church. But at the same time, they're not saying exactly why, because they know that if they were to tell the truth about why he's been booted out of the churches, if that is in fact the case as to what's going on right now, certainly appears that way. If they actually said the reasons why he was booted out of the church, then I have a feeling that they would condemn themselves. And I think that they're smart enough to know that they would, in fact, condemn themselves for getting rid of somebody who's preaching the actual word of the gospel. And that's not going to end up very well for them in the long run. And I think that this is one more of those things that is exactly why people don't like religion. They are spiritual and they are seeking a relationship with their creator. They're seeking a relationship with God, with Yeshua, whoever it is that people choose to worship. They're recognizing it. It's the organizations themselves, the really large organizations, that are the ones that seem to be more easily corrupted. And I think that that's because you get more people involved. Obviously, there's going to be opinions about how certain things should be done. And then that's going to necessarily create problems because some people are terrified by certain perspectives and opinions, especially if they have the backing of what's in the Bible. And that's what you're supposed to be preaching. So it's not a surprise that they're trying to go after the bishop. But at the same time, I have a feeling that the bishop's not the kind of guy who's going to say, oh, well, shit, that's it. I'm done. They told me I'm done. I can't do it anymore. I don't think that that's who he is. And so I fully expect him to continue to tell the truth because that's the kind of person who he is. And his faith in God is much greater than the fear that anybody that on this earth, with whatever authority that they have determined that they have, is just null and void at a certain point. And we need to recognize that just because an authority says something, that's not necessarily the truth, because they may not be so authoritative in the end.
Absolutely. Absolutely. You ready?
Yeah.
Do any other civilizations have a flood?
Good point, Wendy.
More than 200 of them have flood myths, but I'll give you one example that I love. China actually, and some of the most ancient records that we have of China, they were a monotheistic culture that worshiped a god called Shangdi, which means the one above the emperor. And their first great emperor is called Yu the Great, and he became an emperor after he figured out how to irrigate the water that was left over from a flood that had devastated China. And in that flood narrative, they believed that a couple called Fuxi and Nuwa built a boat, got in the boat, and sailed up to the heavens. There was a leak of water that was coming out of the heavens, flooding the earth. And Nuwa, what do you hear there? Noah put together these 5 stones and mixed up some tar pitch, and then took a brush and painted a rainbow in the sky that sealed the heavens. And so Nuwa in a boat paints a rainbow in the sky to put an end to the flood. Sound familiar?
Very interesting.
Yes, it
God
is.
Santino.
The flood myths that are all over the world, there are so many similarities to the Noah flood story. And so are they myths? I have a feeling that if something was global and around the entire world, and they're similar stories, yet at the same time, they're not exactly the same, that would be one of those indicators that there's a lot of truth to the things that are being told. And that's something that we've gotten away from, is that simple logic that says, okay, what's the common denominator between all of these stories? Maybe that's where we can start with the truth. And that would be true, like investigation in terms of what is the real story of humanity. And the real story of humanity looks like there was most certainly a flood, and that the story that's told in the Bible seems to make the most amount of sense. But I do believe that it's important, and I do believe that these are the things that our universities should actually be studying instead of whether or not they can turn frogs gay. I think that that's going to be one of the important things that our universities should start focusing on is what is history telling us all over the world, and what does that tell us about our understanding of our past, and what does that mean, and how can we use that for our future?
Absolutely. I agree. The fact different places have a flood story just proves to me there was a flood.
Mm-hmm.
It's just how it was told.
Mm-hmm.
So, you ready?
Mm-hmm.
Just trust me, you'll be fine.
James, the first martyr from the 12, beheaded in Jerusalem by King Herod. By the way, this is what happened to all the apostles. Matthew was killed with a sword for preaching in Ethiopia.
in Chicago, I feel it.
Peter was crucified upside down on a cross under Nero's persecution. John was boiled alive under Emperor Domitian, but survived, preached while being boiled alive. James was thrown from the temple wall and then stoned to death. Andrew was tied to an X-shaped cross. It took 3 days for him to die, and he preached from the cross until he died. Philip died by hanging in Turkey. Thomas was run through with a lance in India. Thaddeus was killed with arrows in Persia. Nathaniel was flayed alive with knives in Armenia. Simon was sawed in half. Would you die in these ways for a lie? They chose to die in these ways rather than denounce the resurrection of Yeshua. Yeshua is alive, and he is so in love with you. He's so in love with you that he willingly died the most brutal death in order to pay the cost for your sins so that you could have true and eternal life. And even if you were the only person on the planet, he still would have done that. If you confess with your mouth Yeshua is Lord and believe in your heart that God raised him from the dead, you will be saved. Romans chapter 10, verse 9.
Man, you take the man out of the. And when I'm back in Chicago, I feel it.
Ooh, thoughts, Santino.
The thoughts. Well, we don't go through things like the early Christians went through. But at the same time, we see that Bishop Mari, I keep getting those mixed up. He is being ostracized by society. He and so many Christians are. We do have it easy here in the U.S. as Christians, and a lot of the civilized world. We haven't completely gotten to that point, but there are places on this planet where being a Christian is still that kind of dangerous. And so we need to recognize the freedom that we have with the freedom of religion, that we do need to live in the way that we were taught. It is so important. These people gave their lives, and people say that it was a lie. But who would want to die for a lie? Nobody wants to die for a lie. And so what needs to happen? We need to respect and appreciate the martyrs that they became, so that way we had this chance. And to understand what they went through makes anything that we're going through today seem pale in comparison to me, because I know that I haven't gone through nearly as many hard times as so many people on this planet. And I think that that's something that we all need to recognize, is so many people have had it so much worse than we ever have. And so it's important that we respect their memory and their legacy, and respect the sacrifices that they made that so many of us would have had a hard time trying to follow through with, so that way they could get the word out. And so it's imperative that each and every one of us, you, me, everybody here watching, it's imperative that we make sure that we have that freedom of religion moving forward, because that, in the end, is what was one of the founding principles of what created this nation, and the reason why so many people left Europe to come to North America. It was so that way we could believe in Christ in the manner in which we do. So we must, with boldness, preach and teach those people around us, especially if they're asking questions. Don't browbeat them, but at the same time, be willing to answer those questions. And that might give somebody that opportunity to start asking more questions on their own. And then that will help bring more of the flock back. And in the end, he left the 99 to get the one. And so we should go out of our way to help him gather all of those ones.
Absolutely. Absolutely. You ready?
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes a sister comes from another mother. It's a testament to the extraordinary bonds that form between kindred spirits, transcending the boundaries of shared blood. You, my dear friend, are that special sister who entered my life and enriched it with love, laughter, and an unbreakable connection. In the intricate tapestry of friendships, you've woven a thread that goes beyond companionship. You're the confidant who shares in my joys, the pillar of strength during challenges, and the keeper of our shared memories. Our connection is not defined by genetics, but by the shared experiences that have forged an unbreakable sisterhood. A sister from another mother is someone who understands the nuances of your soul, uplifts your spirits, and stands by you through thick and thin. It's about the comfort of knowing that there's someone out there who cares deeply, a friend who has become family through the beautiful journey of life. So, here's to you, my sister from another mother, a testament to the fact that family is not just about blood ties, but the bonds we create with those who choose to walk beside us in this incredible journey called life.
Thoughts, Kay?
So I picked this one because, and it's not just for sisterhood, it's for friendship in general. And I believe that when you have that kindred spirit with someone, it doesn't matter, just that wonderful friendship. It is so important that if that person is quiet, reach out to them, find out what's going on. Or if they are, struggling, let them know you're there for them. If they're doing wonderful, celebrate with them. And that's one of the reasons that I absolutely love doing this show every day, because I love celebrating with you guys. I love seeing everything that is happening. I absolutely love seeing as we all grow together as a family. And it is so important to me. Pardon me. So I just wanted you guys to know that for me, each and every one of you make me so happy every single day. And I do believe that we are together on this walk to help each other out, but also to help so many more people out.
You make me happy. Skies are gray. I'll stop singing.
Thank you.
So that way y'all can have a better day. So I would say that the blood is always very important, and it's important that family is there. But at the same time, family is created. Friends are the family that you choose, right? And that family that we choose, it teaches us more things about ourselves. We teach them things about themselves that they didn't know. And it's all an opportunity to grow. And I think that it's a beautiful thing as we get together and we recognize that we break bread together in the sense that we share the belief in God, in Yeshua. We believe that we are connected divinely through God. And that is a brotherhood. That is a sisterhood. And I think that that's something that it's designed for each and every one of us. That was the point of the church, is so that we could all grow. And that growth is how we all grow together. Are we going to make mistakes? Yeah, we're going to make tons of mistakes. Guess what? We're human. The only perfect person, they crucified him. So don't be perfect. But in the end, that's what we're here for, is we're here to learn and grow. And we're supposed to learn and grow in a manner of love. And that manner of love is what helps us grow better and stronger moving forward. And it creates tighter bonds that are much more difficult to break. But at the same time, we understand that that growth is going to be painful and that it's going to cause some turmoil in our lives. But that's where the love comes in, because it helps cover over a lot of those problems and it makes it easier to come through that darkness. It helps us keep our eye on Yeshua as we step out of the boat, and so that we don't have little faith of a short duration, but a long faith that allows us to grow further and faster, that helps each and every one of us grow just a little bit more. And that's how we get this world back to the way it should be.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Thank you, Denise. We do truly appreciate that.
Thank you, Denise.
So, yeah, I think that's about it. All right. So we'd like to thank each and every one of you for joining us today. Y'all brighten our day up, and we hope that we give y'all that that light sense in your heart that everything's going to be okay, and that it does help you get closer to God, and that closeness will help all of us get to live a much more happy and fulfilling and joyous life. I pray that each and every one of you has a joyous evening, and we'd like to thank you for joining us on Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, X, Rumble, and pill.net.
Of course. And thank you all so very much. And if you haven't yet already, please remember to hit that thumbs up button, take that red pill over on Pilled, smash that heart over on X, and send this out to anyone who you think might like it. And don't forget to hit that notification button so you know when we go live. And also, if you guys remember, also, we do have My Pillow. So if you want to check it out, it is mypillow.com/DTOO and then DTOO.show if you want to go check out any of our products.
There we go. Thank you all for joining us. We love each and every one of you. Have a great night. God bless and be safe.
Love you all.